Welcome to Miss Stories in Crime. I'm your host, Melissa Thompson. Today we have some more information to talk about regarding Don Wells and his daughter's disappearance, Summer Moon UtahWells. It has been 22 days since she has gone missing, and to no avail, we have no idea where she is. I found out some tidbits of information that I thought you guys would like to hear, and it reflects poorly on Don Wells. So let's get into this discussion. I found this article, okay? And this goes back to 2016. I believe it was in July. It was July 1st, 2016. Let me read this to you. A Gastonian man is behind bars after police say he pushed and kicked a woman, then poured beer on her. According to arrest reports, Donald Baxter Wells Jr. of West Fifth Avenue pushed a woman down, kicked her legs, then poured a can of beer over her head when she stood up. Wells, 56, was charged with misdemeanor assault on a female and jailed on a domestic violence charge. This marks Wells' third charge of assault on a female in 2 years. He's also had other arrests on accusations of drug possessions, communicating threats, criminal trespass, and breaking a domestic violence protection order. He was never convicted, but Wells was a suspect, are you guys ready for this? In a 1997 killing of a 76-year-old woman. He stood trial twice, and the reason he is not in prison was because there was a hung jury twice. So this man is, let's just say, he's not well behaved towards women. I think he's a very violent man. And we know this because his wife put out a restraining order, a protective order against him in October of last year, where she feared for her own life and of her children. In the first trial for the murder, the jury was split 6-6, so half believed he was guilty and half didn't. The second trial, it was 11-1 in favor of acquittal. So he didn't get charged, but he was a main suspect of the 76-year-old woman's murder, which I found very interesting. And it goes to reflect that he has a nasty disposition, okay? We know he's abusive. We know he's controlling. And it's starting to make me think Summer's hair was colored, okay? Like, you know, it was cute. She had blue in her hair, I saw in one picture. And I'm wondering if Don is so controlling. In the interview, he discussed that Summer liked to go to the beautiful women who dressed nice. Maybe she thought they were role models. And again, she loved princesses. So she had nobody in her life at her home that was like this. And I saw a video on YouTube. If I can remember where I found it, I will definitely link it in the description box below, where she just held on to Miss Robin at church. Like, this little girl just absolutely loved this woman. And I could just imagine what Miss Robin must be going through. It's very, very sad that the system failed this little girl. She is an absolutely beautiful girl. Beautiful. And it looks like as time went on in her life, things like her appearance changed even. Like, I don't think that these parents took good care of their children at all. And I think the boys may have got better treatment because they were in school, and maybe they're idolized a little bit better in the household than Summer was. But I want to address some more comments that Don Wells has been making on social media. There's a couple that seem very disturbing to me, and I want to know what you guys think. He wrote, I believe this was yesterday, so July 5th, yesterday, okay? He writes, there seems to be something familiar with all the negativity, a familiar spirit, the spirit of Jezebel. And then he writes right after on his Facebook, also check out what is the Jezebel spirit. Now, if anybody knows anything about the Old Testament, Jezebel is considered, well, she was known to be a prostitute, okay? And she married a king, and she was very controlling, and she worshipped Baal, and she used sex to get what she wanted, basically. Now, I'm wondering, does Don think he's the king of his household? And is it possibly that he's referring Candace as Jezebel? Because Jezebel is considered to be a devil worshiper, basically. Okay? Now, we have heard from H's mom that they were fighting over that man, Jose. Okay? Now, Jose was not the only man Candace was known to be flirty with, okay? So I'm very curious to wonder, is Don Wells referring Candace as Jezebel from the Bible? I mean, that's quite interesting. And I did see from the prayer vigil yesterday, that was for 3 weeks of Summer Missing, that Candace has a tattoo, Tasmanian devil, you guys. Jezebel, devil, married to a king. And are you ready for this? Jezebel died by being thrown out a window and eaten by dogs. And the Wells have a lot of dogs on their property. So is this what he is wishing for his wife? That she gets eaten by the dogs? I mean, he is a very, very controlling man. And I think he uses religion as something to hide behind, saying, oh, well, I'm a good person. I'm a Christian, But he lets out little bits of the truth of himself by threatening things. Let's put it that way. And I think the Jezebel remark was threatening towards his wife. I mean, the interview, there have been some spots. I watched that interview with the two of them over and over again. And there are some spots where, okay, like I said, I think they're both on something. But Candace looks at him with such shock. And he has his arm behind her. Do you think he was pushing her or something? He seemed to be controlling that interview. He seems to be very controlling of Candace. And that's why I wonder, in my opinion, if she was seeking comfort elsewhere. Because, again, as I said in her Facebook post for relationship status, she puts it as complicated. And you can kind of see that in the way they are with each other. Okay, now, this was yesterday as well. Okay, he says, to the abductors, you have 2 days to turn Summer loose, or many will be joining me in a prayer for your destruction. See, that's a little bit of truth coming out from him. That's his true side. I agree with Chris McDonough 100-fold that he has a secret persona. I believe that, and when Chris McDonough said it, I was like, yes, Chris McDonough, you are awesome, because I see that. He has a secret side to him that only few get to see, but what he shows to the world is totally different. I'm this Christian man. I'm so good. Can't you see that? I love my family. I support my family. And yet the secret side is, I can't wait to destroy whoever I need to destroy. And his past behavior from his stepsister was very, very disturbing, what she came out with the SA accusations from the time she was 4 years old. Now, guys, remember, Summer was 5, so she's right in that area of the same age as what Don Wells' sister went through. Now, I'm not saying that he SA'd Summer, but we have to think about all of these things going on and his past. I mean, he is not kind to women by any stretch of the imagination. And what he did to his sister from the age of 4 is sick. Now, we also know that his eldest son has SA charges against him, okay? And yet Don Wells says, oh, he's a stand-up guy. He's a good kid. No, I don't think he's good either. And Chris McDonough also made a very good point, which I learned in psychology, is that these behaviors of SA are learned behaviors. They're learned. That eldest son of his didn't come out of the woodworks with that. He learned it from his father. His father taught him things. And there are some genes that we have that lead us to that kind of lifestyle. It's been proven by science. But there definitely is this secret ugly side to Don Wells. Okay, so let's go back to this. To the abductors, you have 2 days to turn Summer loose, or many will be joining me in prayer for your destruction. I pray for your sake you will have a change of heart, but I know Satan's whispering in your ear. Don't listen to him, listen to the living God instead. Do what is right. There are many religions that can justify anything, but I promise they're run by Satan himself. Don't be fooled. Millions of good Christians are praying for Summer and other innocent children, and I'm sure God is listening. Please do the right thing before it's too late. Please. God, please help us in our cause as we turn to you, Lord of Lords, King of Kings. We love you, God. Okay, so that's another time that he's threatened these so-called kidnappers that we have no proof of, Don. So I really like to know where you're getting your information because I doubt it's from authorities. Okay. He's mentioned a couple other things. Let me find. I'm sorry. I have a bunch of things going on. Okay, today. Okay, he writes this. I'm not pleading with criminals like a lot of you would, and not even waiting a third day. Remember he said he gave the kidnappers 3 days? Well, he's taken that back. I'm calling on the living God to please help bring Summer home. And yeah, I may be wrong, but for all the pain they cause, I pray and plead with God, please let them come to their senses or come to an end one way or the other. Please, God, help me, I pray. Please, God, not for me, but for your name's sake, please bring this to an end quickly. In the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, amen. And then 4 hours ago today, he wrote this. To all who are trying to help through psychics, thanks. I know you want to help, but what does the Bible say? And then he quotes Leviticus 19:31, okay? So he's saying to God, basically, in his Facebook post, okay, I just want you to end this. Whether she's dead or not, just end this already. Which is disgusting, in my opinion, Don Wells. It seems as though you do not care if your child is alive or dead. It's been that way from the beginning that I've seen in your actions and Candace's actions that you two do not care. You don't care about this child. And it seems that the strangers care more about what happens to Summer than the two of you. Now, I know there have been a lot of people upset about, there were pictures over the weekend where Candace was out, I think she was with her mother. They went to AT&T. Maybe they needed to change their phone number because I do understand they have been getting threats. quite a lot of threats. And I'm sure somebody has probably found out their phone number. If not, somebody that knew them that had their phone number maybe gave it out, okay? So maybe they needed to go to AT&T to get their phone number changed. Somebody at the AT&T store actually took photos of them out and about. And then there were photos of Candace and Dawn and the children at an indoor play area. And then they were also at the park. And Candace is on a swing. She's smiling. She seems to have not a worry in the world, okay? I know that social media was in an uproar. I saw the pictures too. Now, I told you my eldest daughter passed away. And I had a younger daughter at the time who was little, like very little, and she needed attention. And I was completely broken and I was in shock. So friends and family came because my little one did not understand what was going on, like why her sister wasn't around anymore to play with. And so she didn't understand that. And again, it's not the same situation. My eldest daughter was sick. But my family and friends, they came and they took her out and they took her to play. And they were trying to get her mind off of not having her sister around. So I understand that. But I, myself, did not go to these events. And I know that I had to get up every day and take care of my little one, okay? But I was just trying to go through the motions every day. And I was trying my best to put on a happy face for my little one. But you know what I would do? I'd go in my closet and I'd bawl my eyes out, okay? I was not in shape to go have fun in a park. So instead, my friends and family stepped up for me and they helped my husband and I with our little one so we can have some time to grieve and that our little one wasn't seeing us sobbing our eyes out. I haven't seen any crying from either of these two, which is heartbreaking. And I've told you my husband, he worked he was a search and rescuer, okay? And he works in the medical field. And he went searching for many people that were missing. He was a rescue diver, and he worked in a major city, and he saw some very disturbing things with children of abuse and stuff. And he'd come home. Now, he did not know these children, and he'd come home and he'd be broken down from seeing what people do to their children, okay? He cared so much about these babies, these young children, and what happened to them. His partner would care, the people he worked with. And I'm sure that the neighbors and people at the church are caring more about Summer than her parents are showing. And, I don't know if they're going into their bathroom or wherever in their house and crying alone, okay? We don't see them 24/7. But from the actions that they're showing when they're out and about, even at that prayer vigil, there was no tears. Don wasn't there, okay? Maybe he was working. It was at 3 p.m. It was not announced as a public event. So there was only Candace, her mom Candace, two of the boys, and a family friend. And I'm sure there were quite a few people from the church and local area that would have liked to attend that vigil for Summer because everybody's heart has been touched by this little girl. We all are worried for this little girl, and yet what do we see from the parents? Nothing. And I worry for those boys. I seriously really worry for them because these two don't seem fit to take care of them. I'm trying to remember where I saw this, guys. I've been down the rabbit hole on Summer's case because she looks very similar to one of my daughters. And I guess that hurts. And she's 5 years old. She's a baby, and she's missing. We have no idea where she is. I saw there was a picture taken of, I told you, Summer went right up to Miss Robin while she was singing with two other women, and she just gripped onto Miss Robin like, please hold me, please, like, and Miss Robin just seemed to love and adore Summer. And her mother, Candace Bly, looks like she's passed out in the front row in the church. I mean, I was just, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, you guys. I saw that and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I agree with Chris McDonough. She is on the nod a lot. I mean, I don't know. What does she start drinking and abusing stuff from early in the morning? I mean, that's my opinion, but it definitely looks like she's on something. And I don't know who is hiding what, but, you know, TBI said that they will not be doing any more pressers unless they get some news. They're almost up to 800 tips, and nothing has come out of any of it. And this okay, let's just take in this. These Candace and Dawn are not the sharpest tools in the shed, the brightest light bulb in the chandelier. They're not. They're no master criminals. Yes, Dawn has a rap sheet, and so does Candace. Yes, we know that. But they're not smart criminals, okay? So if this is my opinion, if they had something to do with this, I don't see her very, very far away. They're not that intelligent to hide her body. Like, I truthfully always saw Barry Morphew as having, he's smart. I could tell you that. He's an intelligent man. He may be wackadoodle in his head, in my opinion, but I always knew that he would hide Suzanne in a good spot, like that we would not find her. And so far, authorities have not located her. I do not see the same thing with Summer's parents. They're not that smart. I'm thinking she's close by. She's close by where they can keep an eye, in my opinion, they're close by where they can keep an eye on wherever she is. Now, I'm really, really wondering if anybody has used ground-penetrating radar, because, like Chris McDonough said, that swing in the yard was brought up for a reason. It was that sentence came out of nowhere. Like, it was just like, and her swing, like, it was questionable. Okay, it was like, why did you bring her swing up? And then in that interview, you saw a picture of one little shoe of Summer's just sitting in the ground. And that is so heartbreaking, you guys. Just, I don't know why little things like that really, really get to me. But I'm telling you, if these two had something to do with the little girl, she is close. She is close. And I do think that they want to profit off of this. I really do. They need to feed their addictions, in my opinion, because they both look like they're on something, truthfully, to me. I've said that. They are not acting normal. The mom seems like she wants to be numb or dead to the world. And I can understand that, again, wanting to be numb or dead inside, because, again, I told you I've lost a child. And for a while, that's how you feel. And you don't get over that pain. That pain exists every day. And you just, you never forget them. Like, I have things like I'll cuddle up with my daughter's blanket, and you know, there are just some times that are harder than others to deal with every day. And when you have other children, it's hard. I understand that they're in that predicament because they have other children that they have to take care of, okay? But they need to stop whatever they're on. They need to get clean. Maybe they need a program, okay? And maybe somebody needs to step up and take care of these children. And I'm very curious, and I wonder if you guys are too, why Grandma has only had a little bit of a written statement. Her daughter is missing since 2009, and now her granddaughter is missing under very bizarre circumstances. Like, they both just vanished. I mean, vanished. I wonder if Rose, Candace Harris' daughter, I wonder if she took off and left, but I'm not sure about that. I mean, it's probable that she's deceased. And the way Candace the way she said the statement at the end of her interview with Dawn, she goes, I don't really know much about my sister, but I hope she's found too. It was just very strange the way she said it. It was like, well, how do you not know about your sister's case? Whether you lived in Wisconsin then or not, shouldn't you know about what happened? Like, the story the authorities were told? Shouldn't you have talked to them about what happened to your sister? I mean, I don't get this, you guys. So now Candace Harris has 2 close family members that have disappeared without a trace. And that's either a very strange coinkydink or it's not, in my opinion. I wish that she would come forward and talk a little bit more. Now, we did see her at the prayer vigil, and I don't know where the eldest son was. I don't know. Maybe he just couldn't handle it anymore. He's a child. This is tough. These are adult problems that he shouldn't have to deal with at his age. And I feel like the parents are using the boys as props, that we're great parents. And again, it's like the children and the religion, it's props. It's something to hide behind. It's a deflection. Like, oh, well, it can't be us. We're these Christian people. We're so good. And yet, when I look at your backgrounds, it's sick. And I saw the TikTok video of Candace with Hunter on the bed, and that just looked very inappropriate to me. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I felt disgusted by that. And I'm not really sure why H's mother lets him go to this house, and especially with what her daughter said about having to sleep in the... I mean, there's some weird stuff going on in this home, you guys. I mean, a lot of things. I also heard that Dawn, this is alleged, don't quote me on this, I just heard it through the grapevine, that the only reason Dot got out of jail early was because he was a jailhouse snitch. He gave information to them on other inmates that they would need, so supposedly they could catch a bigger fish than Don Wells, even though in my opinion I think Don Wells should be in prison for his disgusting behavior of what he did to his stepsister, his domestic violence accusation. I mean, he's not a good man, you guys. I don't care how he tries to portray himself. To me, in my opinion, I don't think he's a good idea. And as much as I keep trying to think, okay, well, what if these two are actually innocent and they're just, like, not good parents, okay? They don't take care of their children well, okay? Because they have addiction issues, allegedly. But the circumstances that would have had to happen for a stranger to abduct this child just seems outlandish to me. I've tried. I told you I made a video like, what if she was hunted, okay, by a tracker? I thought about that, okay? It is possible. It's possible. But it seems more and more unlikely. And I feel that there are a lot of lies coming out. And I'm just not buying the timeline that they have given us. The timeline doesn't make sense. And there are 2 hours unaccounted for that day. What was going on in those 2 hours when Candace picked up H, and from that point to the swimming hole? It was like 10:30 to 12:20. Where were they? Is TBI not letting somebody speak about where they were in those 2 hours? Now, I do believe TBI is not giving up on this case, and I think they know more than they are letting on. I think they are watching many players closely, and I don't think that they're buying the whole timeline either. It's just like when Leslie Earhart said, there are no signs of an abduction. There's no drag marks. There was no screaming. Why didn't the dogs bark? There was a neighbor that had a perfect view of that situation. The other neighbor came out and was saying, how she would go and play with Summer, and how Don was so very controlling of what his daughter could play with and what she could not play with. It seemed like Summer was very neglected, in my opinion, and others noticed it, and that's why they called family services, because something needed to be done in that household. And now this little girl is missing, and I feel like the system failed her. The system failed her. It failed the boys, okay? And I really, really hope that they are checking in on those boys daily, because God only knows what could happen now. I know that they are working round the clock to find out where Summer is. I know that affects each and every one of those investigators, to know that there's a 5-year-old little girl missing and they have no clue where she is. So I expect for them to eventually, I think they're going to find her. I really, really believe that. Again, like I said, if it is these two, they're not smart. So we have to consider where they would put her. And unfortunately, those woods are so dense, and the wild animals, and then the heat. Like, we have to face the facts of all those things that, I hate to say this, if there is a body, it's going to affect the remains. And being 22 days now, this is not looking good. She's out in the heat in summer, and I'm sure it gets cold in those woods at night. And I believe if there was an abductor, kidnappers like Don Wells seems to claim, and if it was about money, wouldn't they have made a ransom demand as of now, asking for what they wanted? I mean, at least they would try if that was their motive, if it wasn't a predatorial way of wanting to take this little girl, okay? Which is most of the time why they take her. It's not really for ransom money. It's for their own pleasure. And we know that. I just don't think that she ended up in a human trafficking ring. I just don't. I just feel something really bad in this timeline that they told. And I'd really, really love to know the timestamps on the pictures floating around from the swimming hole, from the back of the car. I'd like to know what those timestamps were. And I'd love to know what they were doing from 10:20 to 12:20. Did they go back and pick the grandma up from the hospital? I mean, I just don't understand that. And I really, really wish that Candace Bly would come back out and talk some more. Because the more they talk, the more we hear little bits of information come out. Because Don keeps doing that every time he opens his mouth. I see what Chris McDonough said. There's his secret life. His secret life overlaps with his public life. And he's enjoying this attention. He thrives on the attention that he's getting because he's adding more and more friends daily to his Facebook. And that's telling you that he's thriving on this attention. I don't think he cares one way or the other about his so-called wife, Candace. And again, I can't find a marriage certificate on those two. I don't know if any of you have, but I don't even know if they're actually married. I mean, it could be maybe they're considering themselves married because of a common law marriage. But I don't know if they're legally like married, if they actually got married, because I can't find a marriage certificate. So if any of you guys found that, I'd be quite interested. Oh my God, I'm looking at a picture of Summer right now, and I just lost my whole train of thought. I just can't believe how this family is being. It's like Summer was like nothing to them. Absolutely nothing. It was like she was the dirt on the bottom of their shoe, in my opinion. That's the way they felt for her. They definitely seemed to care more about those boys than they did Summer. And to me, hearing that Summer, as a newborn baby until she was 18 months old, wouldn't even go to her mama, that is very, very weird. That's a psychological thing there going on, and I'd like to explore that a little bit more, because I've only technically seen that in babies. I told you I worked in the medical field. Babies that were born addicted to substances from their mother. They are very colicky. They have all kinds of issues. They need to be given medication because of the addiction problem they were born into. So, that's a possibility. And maybe Candace was jealous that Don, in the little bit of time that he had, because it seems like he does work a lot to support the family, that he gave his attention to Summer. I mean, Summer seemed like a happy-go-lucky child, like just seeing her dance in the rain and splish splash in the puddles, or being in the water, or swinging on her swing. Like, she looks so happy. And that's what childhood should be about. It should be about happiness, not what she's going through. I guess that's all for me today. I hope all of you are well. And if you're looking into this story like I am, I'd love to know your opinions. I'm sorry, I think my comments keep getting shut off, and I'm going to have to go back in and fix that. I really apologize for that. I will keep a better eye on that for you guys. If you like this content, please stick around and subscribe. I would love to have you, and we can chat about everything that's going on. And if you have any case recommendations, let me know. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.